Been incarcerated for over half my life. Been in prison for 5 years. And my education. I just got my GED. Probably, I got my GED 2 years ago. So, I just took care of my family, took care of my mother, my sister, and then I taking care of children. So, and since being out, I've been in Nashville now for 10 years. And I go to Mount Carmel Missionary Baptist Church under the tutelage of Bishop-elect Marcus Campbell. And I was ordained last year as a minister, as associate minister. And it's so many challenges that go with it. Especially when you come from, where I come from, which was the streets. And then you go to prison for mistakes and things that we've done. And then you come out with try to change your life. People still look at you as the same person that went in. So it's really hard sometimes when you come out and try to do something different. But I always think about Paul, who was once Saul. And when he was Saul, he did a lot of nonsense. He persecuted, he killed Christians, he killed people. But Jesus knew it was something in that man. So when he met him, he blinded him. And Paul said, Jesus, if you give me my sight back, I'll follow you. And from that day on, Paul followed him. And it's so funny that people know about the stories and they know about what happened in the Word and they say they believe in the Word, but when it comes to being in the natural and not the spiritual, they take your spiritual realm for granted. And I think it really hurts a lot of us that are coming from prison and stepping into our calling and being called because we were convicted. So with that call comes conviction. With that call comes criticism as well.
But with that call also comes a recognition that you have been what all institutions are supposed to produce, a rehabilitated individual, even though I think that you more than anybody else understand what it means when they talk about rehabilitation there. And when you get back out here, nobody believes that you've been rehabilitated. So let's sort of follow that line in terms of moving in a real sense from prison to pulpit. I think you've already indicated that you've been incarcerated, and et cetera. But now, what was the transition that allowed you to move from coming out of a closed society in a real sense to meet your Damascus road in terms, since you've talked about Paul, what was your Damascus road?
Wow. I've been shot 6 times. I've been stabbed 12. I had open heart surgery. My biggest thing with my children, it's crazy because everything that I went through still didn't stop me from doing that dumb stuff I was doing. But I had children and I had to realize that I didn't want my children to be raised by the propaganda. I didn't want my children to be raised by the nonsense or the ignorance of the world or other people, period. I wanted to be a father to my children. And the only way I could do that was I had to be here. And I learned something. Once your mind is free, then you're able to do other things. The Bible says, don't be conformed to the world, but be transformed in the renewing of your mind. So in other words, you change your mind, you change your grind. And that was my whole plight right there. I just wanted to do something different for my children and other children and children's children, because I realized the people I hurt, the people I've done wrong, people I've done things to, and I felt like I owed them. And if I couldn't go back and give lives back or go back and give people that time back, then what I could do is serve as much as I can, serve as much as I can in terms of doing better to help somebody else.
And so that was in a real sense a passion with you, that you wanted to go out and in spite of what others might say in terms of, or in spite of the doubts that people might have had in reference to your sincerity and et cetera, you kept on pushing anyway because there was some kind of passion that drove you. Is that what you're telling us?
Very much so. It's the passion. It's thinking about the movie Passion of Christ. It's just the passion, man. I mean, Christ had a passion for people, regardless. His purpose in the passion is passion.